Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Random Timeline. So in this episode we will be going through the digitization mode and the very first steps of the same. Using a barcode or QR code is being considered or can be considered as the first step of going digital. Okay, so now let's see what do we have. Why do we need these barcodes or QR codes or in the system? So basically for that we need to understand what are the causes and constraints that we have in the organization. We any any organization at some point of time must have faced revenue leakage or visibility of their transactions, issues regarding the visibility of their transactions. So what are the causes for this revenue leakage and not having a visibility over the processes or transaction? So here I have listed down some causes like incorrect data entries. It can be related to value or a location. Unmonitored profitability. The organization may not have control over account receivables, account payables, or bad debts or anything else. Unsent invoices, missing follow-ups, poor intake practices. So these are the few examples because of which organization or a company at one point of time must have faced revenue leakage or not having a visibility of their services or goods into the system. Okay, if you are facing these issues right now, what you can do? Using a barcode or QR code can be an option to have a track and trace of the entire process in the organization. If you are using this barcodes and QR codes currently in your systems, look at look into the video how you can improve your usage of the same. Talk about the manufacturing unit, how it helps. So here second picture is of production unit or manufacturing unit. So they have supplier X and supplier Y. If they want to check the supplier performance, they can identify using internal codes. But if barcode is assigned to each supplier, so barcode or QR code is basically the information stored in the coded format. Okay, it can be name of the supplier, it can be identification, or it can be location of the supplier. So on the basis of which a production unit can identify the supplier, identify the raw material, they can identify the expiry date, they can identify the compliances of the supplier, and so on and so forth. In a production unit itself, what you can identify or a company can identify the quality and quantity of raw material, production TET, that is the lead time of a product, what product should go after which product, that is shortest path method. This is basically MBA jargon, but everyone knows every production unit knows that their constraints, their limitations. Okay, on a basis of which they can have the pipeline of the same. They can have a speed on addressing failures. So it is basically called failure mode effect analysis. So after production of units, they flows to warehouses. What happens in warehouse? So this is basically very easy to understand in terms of warehousing technology. Warehouse management systems are basically or are developed by many companies. For example, for example, Oracle or Tally. It can be SAP or any other system, any other TMS system or warehousing system. So they can track the product's performance. They can track the aging of the products. They can track the capacity utilized or have a visibility over capacity utilized in the warehouse. They can forecast for the certain products if they want to. So moving forward on a distribution channel where it helps. Again, tracking of the products, whether routing of the products. So real-time tracking is possible with the GPS, but that GPS information has to be linked with some account or some ID. That ID can be barcode or any numbering or alphanumeric ID. But having a barcode as an ID helps to understand the requirement as well as the constraints behind the product. It can be temperature controlled cargo also. So accordingly, it can be mapped. So geographical segmentation of the products. Again, at the retail performance, if a organization or a have a better have a better performance in some location, they can provide the discounts to the retailers. Okay, they so on the basis of what they should provide the discounts. So geographical segmentation, from where it comes from the data. So where this data is stored, it can be stored in an Excel sheet or a system. But barcode is a very unique way to store, so it can be translated digitally anywhere. Voice of the retailer also can be heard by the manufacturing unit. Moving forward, the consumer. Consumers are the end users for whom entire supply chain works. So real-time tracking of products is possible with the help of barcode or QR code because these codes are linked to the internal system or a shipment ID or transaction ID. Voice of the customer. When a consumer gives the feedback, it reaches to manufacturing unit on real-time basis. What is the trend of these consumers? Where they are shifting? So on the basis of these points, an organization or a manufacturing unit or a company can strategize their further plans. They can strategize their marketing plans. So this is the domestic movement of goods. Let's say what happens in the international trade or international movement of goods. World is exporting and India is importing from the world. So what Indian manufacturing unit or a company wants to track where cargo has been picked up. So this is USA, this is South America, this is European country, Russia or Asia, this is Australia, Africa. So from which location cargo has been picked up, whether they have been custom cleared from their location or not, whether they have departed from that location or not, what is the expected arrival time, what is the live tracking or live status of the cargo, where they are, whether they were custom cleared in India or not, whether they have reached to the manufacturing unit or not. So this entire movement can be replicated for air shipments, ocean shipments, or a road freight movement. Anything is possible using the barcode or QR code in terms of tracking, tracing, and having a backup or having a visibility. So same cycle goes for exporting out of India for this manufacturing unit. So this is not only related to goods. This also helps to track the real-time tracking of the movement of documents, bill of lading release, bill of entry filed, letter of credit movement, e-way bill or road transportation documents movements. So in international trade, these terms may be new for many of you. So in domestic terms, what are the taxes paid on the shipment? Or whether invoice has been dispatched to the customer or not? Whether invoice has booked into the system or not from vendor? whether payment has been done to vendor or not, whether invoice delivered to customer or not. Apart from this documentation tracking, it also tracks the transactions, whether cost or revenue are booked in the system or not, whether we have received or we have paid, we have received from the customer or we have paid to the customer or not. What are the debts and related to which account, to which customer, to which transaction. What are the duties and taxes paid to the government, from which account. So many things can be tracked in a manufacturing unit itself, not even not if not a goods related or cargo related. It helps, or barcode or QR code helps to have a end-to-end visibility from purchasing a from issuing PO for a raw material to getting a payment from the customer. So this is a nice example of manufacturing unit to the service industry. I already explained how it is happening in the manufacturing unit. Even services industries are not behind. Maybe Flipkart or Amazon or EY or Deloitte or HDFC Bank, SBI Bank, Government of India, logistics companies, logistics or providing or service providing companies, consulting companies. So these companies are using barcodes to have an internal track or internal visibility or internal discipline into the system. Let's see few examples. To have a control over visibility, to have control and visibility over the resource utilization. So definition of resource is the employee for a service industry. So what is the revenue generated by any resource or any employee in the organization? What is the government of India is a classic example of where they are using the barcodes or QR codes. So they are using it to provide the code on a job application or a result of the examination. So on the basis of which you can have the external compliances as well as internal controls in place. And barcode and QR code are digitally stored data and coded in a coded form. That means your information is secure, and it is very difficult to make it or faking it in the any industry. Few examples are to provide better services, to have visibility over project status, to having a trend of the market or to identify the trend of the market, to have a forecast for the growth movement, GDP, and so on and so forth, to store the documents as we have seen in manufacturing unit that they can trace multiple documents. So even for a storage of these documents for audit and compliance purposes, barcodes or QR codes can be used. So this is how barcode and QR code can help in across the industry, be it logistics, manufacturing, banking, financial, service industries, consulting industries, NGOs, government bodies, everywhere barcodes can or QR codes can be used, and they bring excellent level of visibility into the system, excellent level of compliances into the system. So with this, I'll be concluding this video. Thank you very much. Go digital and do subscribe for more videos to a random timeline on YouTube. This is the QR code. You can subscribe or you can scan and directly go to the my page, the random timeline, and you can subscribe over there. See you in the next video. Have a good day ahead.